Test, test.
Aries, where are we?
Man, we are in what we call the Van Lewis field. It's it's our location this year for our seed beds for the 2023-24 Vidalia onion crop. And it is go time. It has been go time for the last probably week or so, but the temperatures have been great. The weather's perfect. Wind's blowing a little bit. It's clear. It's
What's the temperature right now?
I think the temperature right now is probably like 74 degrees, 75 degrees. I mean, it feels great. This is the weather we all love during this time of the year. I've always said that when the best time to plant onions is when you want to get the grill going and sit outside with a group and you're not worried about sweating, mosquitoes, all that good stuff. You know, a bunch of gnats and all that good stuff. So we've been it's been a little bit of a slow start for us this season. Just trying to get everything going. It seems like the minute that we start to get things going, we may have an issue with the GPS and our tractors that we use to help drive and steer the tractors. We have issues with the tractors, of course. You know, ever since COVID, it just seems like things just haven't recovered as quickly as they used to be. We were so used to having everything we needed, parts and stuff, right at our fingertips, and now we don't. So, but you know, we're getting caught back up. You know, right here, you can see the tractors coming. It's spreading some nutrients on the soil. This land, as you can tell, is sandy, and so over the years, what we do is we test the soil and see what we have to do to add to it so that we can have the healthiest onion crop that we can produce, especially when the seed beds are in play, because what's unique about the seed beds is we have a ratio that we shoot for, a target ratio, and basically for every 1 acre of planted seed beds, that's going to multiply to 20 acres of transplanted onions in the field.
Yep.
And so, you know, we put a lot of attention to that. You know, when you've got the cost like we have for the onion seed nowadays, we try to make sure that it's as perfect as it possibly can be.
When you're choosing this seed bed, Aries, the location of it, do you test the soil before you pick the seed bed prior to each season, or has that been done in previous seasons?
You know, well,
is there a process to that, or are you just familiar with this field so you consistently?
Yeah, so we try to rotate our seed beds some, the best that we can, based on the years. This field actually has never had a seed bed in it. For some reason, my hunch told me, let's plant seed beds here. We've actually had a few issues with weed control in this field. So I thought to myself it would be best to be able to maybe combat that a little bit because of the intense tillage that we have to do. It gives us a chance to try to break that cycle of that weed growth up. So that was one reason I chose this field, honestly, just trying to see if I can help fight the weeds down a little bit. Some of the weeds that we experience in this field are weeds that are very difficult to control with a herbicide. So tillage is about the only tool that we have. And so when we come in, we imagine this field has got some weeds growing in it. We would hair this field. And then after we hair the field, we will take a plow that would turn the dirt 10 inches. It digs in 10 inches and flips the dirt over.
Wow.
So, you know, that allows us then, after we do that, we come in with another plow that smooths everything.
Yeah.
And then
these are the ones that have been smoothed right
yeah,
here.
Well, this is from our rotavator. So technically, we've come back over this field 2 more times since we did all of the hairing and the bottom plow and the smoothing. Now we're actually preparing it for the seed bed. Okay. That's the reason why you have the beds up here now. You can see kind of what the field looked like before. It's rougher, it's not as smooth. That's what the field will look like before.
Yeah.
you can see some residue from the old weeds on the surface of the soil there. That's Nuts Edge, and
Yeah.
Nuts Edge is a lot of fun, a lot of fun to try to get rid of. But yeah, that's the reason for, like I said, switching this field over. You can see right here, right behind us, where we didn't. The water doesn't hit here, so we didn't control it, but you can see how thick it is in comparison to what we're combating.
And the water from the pivot, or water from where? Just
Yeah,
regular-
water from our pivots.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, you know, the crop is so valuable. I mean, it has to be irrigated so that we can control germination. Actually, what I'm gonna do is, it's been 7 days since we planted our first seed, and we should be able to see some coming up. That's what I was gonna do, is take you down and let's look and see if we can see some green sprouts coming up. If not, it's just gonna be real close.
So where you're standing, you've already planted seeds versus that is prepped
That's correct.
for the seeds. So that's already been
So you can
planted.
see what the difference looks like as far as the way that the seed bed is prepped. You can see right here.
Oh, you can see the trench. Look
Yeah,
at that.
yep. And so you can tell, like right here, it was not as prepped as the way it needs to be. So, you know, you can, when the water comes in there, hopefully what we'll get is the water will help cover up some of these low spots.
Yeah.
You know, nothing's going to be perfect. We try to be as perfect as we can, but it's not going to be perfect. I mean, we're dealing with Mother Nature, and you know,
It's just hidden away. I mean,
Yeah.
I for some reason, I was looking at this field, thought this one needed to be prepped as well, but no, it's already been.
And you
worked.
can tell, like, its crust is hard right now.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is make sure that we get water on it, and we seal this, and then we also have to gauge it to make sure that when that seed sprouts, which I'll show you in a minute, that we don't keep it crusty. We don't want it to stay crusty the whole time. We want it to be where the seed comes up, like I said, with no effort, no extra effort than what it needs. A good bit of exposed seed right here.
Now, when you say the seed is stressed, stressed because it doesn't have enough water, or stressed it has maybe direct sunlight on it? What is
Yeah,
what
so-
is the stressor?
Well, the stressor is effort, energy to come through the soil. So it's like you and I. If we the energy it takes for you and I to exert to be able to, let's just say, pick up a barbell. Like you and I can take our arms and we can push off with no barbell and it's fine, right? There's not much energy being used. With that plant, when you have the soil sitting there and that plant's trying to push through, if it's got a crusty, if it's hard, what happens is it'll come up and it'll kind of push to the side.
Yeah.
It'll push to the side and then come up. What you want to do is come straight up.
Oh, look at
because the energy it's going to use to turn to the side and go up, it loses, I guess you could say, like the photosynthesis. I mean, we want this plant to come up and go straight through so that immediately the sun starts hitting it and it does its thing.
Wow.
So when it turns to the side, that's energy lost.
Oh, so it slows the process
It
down?
slows it may not slow it down, but it may affect it enough to impact it later in the season.
Impact the size, impact
That's correct.
okay, look at that.
Yep. So
As they start pushing through the soil,
Yep.
if one isn't performing well, or
So here's one here that you're not going to be able to see with the camera, I wouldn't think. But this is a seed that has come up. So that means that they are, here's another one.
oh yeah,
Um,
here, I'll see if I can zoom.
so we're going to water this today again.
Yeah.
And you'll probably, tomorrow, you could probably come out here and see a lot more seed coming up. I wish I had me my little shovel or something to dig in, but I can just use my hand. But see how hard this dirt is?
Yeah.
Gotten. But you can see, there it is right there. So it's just about to pop through. See it right there.
Wow.
Just about to pop through.
Cool.
Yep.
Jeez.
And so you can tell too, like the ones that I pointed to a minute ago that came through, this one, it's got a different color green to it because it's already got the sun hitting it. And so the photosynthesis in the see, here's another one that's popped through. So it's cool. I've always wanted to like put a camera on it and show like, okay, here's day one, and then just as they start coming up. Because what's fun about seed beds, they grow fast. So these in 55 days now, we'll be transplanting these.
55 days. So
Yep.
they stay in a seed bed for 55 days. We transplant, and by transplant we mean we hand
Plant them.
plant them, but hand pull them,
Hand pull them,
And
and
then-
then hand plant them. That's
and
correct.
then replant them in a different field.
That's correct. Yep.
And that's primarily done for weed control from high level, pretty
right.
much.
Yeah. We'll take a look at the planter real quick to show you before we start to run it what it is. I mean, basically it's got a like a plastic roller. What this does is as that land crust over like we want it to, it'll break that crust up, and it helps kind of turn it into a powder. Then we have our press wheels that will press down to create a little bit of a channel for our shoes that are right here. You can kind of tell there's a little angle here that actually creates the hole or the trench, and the seed falls through this little hole right here into that trench. And then we have a little bit of biology that we spray onto the seed to try to protect it from any type of diseases or pest or anything like that that we spray on it. And then of course this part of the planter, you can see it kind of got a little wet on them at the end of the day, but what it does, it just covers them up. And the idea is this diamond pattern that's here, the guys from Monosim, they talk about how this diamond pattern helps prevent crusting. So we want it to crust before we plant it. Then after we plant it, we do not want it to crust because we don't want that seed to use extra energy to come through the soil, through the top layer. We want it to be as stress-free as possible. And so that's what we're trying to do. So as you see with the things that we do through the crop and throughout the whole time period, what we're trying to do is make sure that the plant is not stressed, because a plant is similar to us humans. I mean, we don't like stress. It's not healthy for us. So as you'll see throughout the season, we're constantly trying to feed, keep the plant as healthy as possible and as stress-free as possible.
What are these tubes? What is that tube?
So this is a vacuum planter is what this is. So that tube actually, it's pulling air through holes. And so as it turns, the seed that's inside of this, I don't know, there was probably not gonna have any seed in here, but the seed that's inside of this is just held in there. And as it turns, it sucks seed up on a hole. And then the holes, as it goes down, then it loses suction, and that's how the seed falls through. So that's how it singulates or spaces the seed, is by that. And then we have gears.
In a straight line? Are
In
they
a straight line.
Okay, straight line. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
straight
do
line.
some jagged or...
Yep, straight line.
And so how many rows? So I'm counting.
So we have
these.
six.
So-
we
so-
have the capability to do 6 rows on our bed if we wanted to. So you know, different varieties we do test all the time, trying to see what's best.
Yeah.
Typically, you're going to see 4 rows being used all the time in the industry, at least.
Yeah.
So.